and a departure from the new monologue, I'm gonna pose this question, right? Yeah. This question probably is not gonna make me no fucking fans at all. But you ever hear somebody complain about who you are and how you respond to things, and talk about how they could never deal with the traumas that you've experienced, and then in an attempt to gain some favor or some pity or some empathy or some sympathy from you, they begin to tell you about their problems? When is it just me that I be thinking, well, you just told me how much of a bitch you are already, and I know you can't deal with what you're dealing with. Is that a me thing or is that a thing? Do other people experience that?
What? I just got here and I'm already fucking lost. What? What?
I'm gonna let you repeat it before I send my answer. I will let you repeat it before I send my answer.
So my question is, because it's not a was, it is. This is a standing question. like someone tells you that, like, looks you right in your face with all the seriousness in the world and tells you that they understand that they could never have survived the traumas that you have clearly lived through. And then in an attempt to gain pity, empathy, sympathy, favor, whatever, begin to tell you and explain to you their problems after clearly stating that they could have never survived what you've obviously survived. Is it just me, or is it a real thing when my mind processes it like, oh, then you're just a bitch and I don't really want to have this conversation? Anyway, I'm aware that this question is not going to gain me any favor with the masses, but this is a standing dilemma, because like people tend to request me to like change, shift, or adjust who I am. And I'm not saying that my traumas define me, but they definitely made me who I am. And the fact that I survived them, clearly, I, being the survivor of said trauma, am fully aware how to deal with the traumas. You, as the complainant, seeking some pity, empathy, sympathy, whatever, after stating you could not have survived my traumas, well, I don't understand what the fuck we're talking about when the conversation goes that way. And I know I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just alone. Like, I don't know. So I'm posing the question instead of monologuing and saying some deeply profound or funny shit. I was like, wow, this is interesting. That, like, you know, it's been a long-standing question, but you know, it was recently brought to my attention, and then in the process of the person explaining, I couldn't shake the shit. Like, I didn't even answer their question. I couldn't provide them any assistance because I was just like, you a whole bitch right now, and I don't want to hear none of this shit. I was just wondering if it was me or if other people experienced this. I told you was going to jump.
I can see how it will lend itself. I was like, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I find like a twinge of me was like, wait, bitch. It's like, wait a minute. Pause. For
like, okay. So like not full disclosure, half disclosure. Just because I'm gonna allow the listeners of the pod in a little bit to like me and Mookie's personal interaction. Mookie makes the statement regularly that he's just like, yo, the shit you carry is just too fucking much, right? But we trade information and how to deal with things. Like we bounce things off of one another. So that's not the same type of thing that I'm technically asking about. Because I tell Mook, like, it doesn't make a difference what I'm dealing with. You got a problem, bro. You come to me, we gonna fucking figure that shit out. It is what it is. That's never a fucking issue. So I'm not talking about anyone that I have that type of fucking relationship with. I'm saying, like, when you're sitting here processing the information and then someone literally in the same breath is trying to get some type of motherfucking pity, sympathy, or empathy from you, says that they could not have survived. How can you look me in the face and ask me to change? Mookie never asked me to change. Mookie's like, yo, bro, you just are who you are. And it is what it is. You know, it's fucked up that you had to go through the shit you went through, but I'm kind of glad you did because it helps me get through mine. If motherfuckers haven't adopted that theory, and then you're asking me to in some way, shape, or form shift or change or show you some type of empathy or sympathy, like I'm unaware of, like, motherfuckers, do y'all understand? Like, this is I got through what I got through. You said you would have buckled. I don't want to hear your shit after you say that. Like, just, you need to hang up, call back. That's another conversation. Because you can't ask me to change in the same breath. Like, you understand, you're calling a motherfucker and you're asking him for his motherfucking opinion or his advice based on the fucking shit he's experienced. Yet you're trying to say in some way, shape, or form that I need to fucking be more fucking sensitive to what the fuck are you talking about? If I was a sensitive little bitch, I would have buckled. You already said that.
It doesn't lend itself well. It's like an oxymoron. It doesn't lend itself. It's weird. It's weird as fuck.
It's like Neo stopping the Sentinels outside the Matrix. The fuck? I'm sorry. Anyway, you know what? We're not gonna come up with an answer. Anyway,
I was gonna say
we're just gonna let it hang. Like, look, I don't fuck y'all. Y'all can like me. Y'all can not like me. I don't give a fuck. And if you feel like I was talking about you and your stomach turned, guess what? So
he was talking about you.
It is what it is.
He's fucking talking about you.
May I speak on this subject briefly, very briefly?
I mean, go for it. I posed an open question. That's why I didn't.
So a few weeks ago, I posed a question to you, and the answer I got was, I am already conforming myself or changing who I am for you, and you don't even know it.
No. I said I made concessions.
That's what you said. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what you said.
I'm never going to say I changed for anyone.
Yeah. Like you were already making concessions on a regular basis, and I didn't know it. And then you pointed out said concessions, and I didn't realize how many concessions were being made, and I have nothing to say beyond that. So why in the fuck do other people not understand that about you? Like, I just don't get it. It's not that hard. I mean, I'm squeezing an imaginary neck right now because it just pisses me off, because you are like no other individual that anybody knows, period. There is no other D. There's not even anybody on the planet like you except for Mookie and Kev. And that's it. And I just don't understand. It's like people continue to question who you are as a human being, and you've made it fairly clear.
Yeah, I don't need people to understand.
I know it's not that you need them to understand.
Yeah, I'm a math problem. 2 + 2 is 4. That's it. I'm giving you the answer. If you accept it, you accept it. Otherwise, just get up from the desk and go to another classroom. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, that's enough.
I truly don't. I was just wondering if other people experience this thing, because when I'm processing the information and I'm listening and I'm like, after we've already had this dialogue, I'm sitting here like, so you think you're about to unload on me, and when I'm not sympathetic and I'm not sensitive to what you're saying, you're like, oh, you're like so cold and you're callous. I'm like, well, bitch, how the fuck do you think I survived the things that I've survived? Like, I don't understand. We are all a culmination of our fucking experiences. And it doesn't even make me a really harsh person. It's just you come to me with a problem, then I'm not finna sit here and be crying about your problem with you. That's weird as hell. We're gonna come up with a fucking solution and we're gonna move the fuck on.
I think that's the problem too.
Or I'm gonna listen to you and not respond. Because I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. That's unlikely. That's really unlikely, but that's not the topic. Anyway, right. So, dearly beloved, we are gathered together today.
I can't with this. I can't with this
show. Oh man. So, right, kind of as a continuation, but not really, of last week's Shindiggy Mabobber. We are going to.
You will.
No okay. Conspiracies. No conspiracies.
No. I'm not even talking about that. I don't know what you're trying to do, and I don't like it. You are for that. I don't like
the wrong button. Hold on. Click the wrong button.
I don't like what you're about to do.
I clicked the wrong button. I know that.
Good. That's a sign that you should.
I kind of clicked the wrong button. I just didn't click all the right buttons. How about that?
That's a sign you shouldn't do what you're about to do.
That's where you're entirely incorrect.
It was 1 year ago today we first broadcast the body camera video seen across the country. An innocent social worker wrongly raided by the Chicago Police Department. Traumatizing moments. The city's law department fought in federal court to stop from airing. They didn't want you to see it, but she did. Tonight, Ann Jeanette Young is nearing a multi-million-dollar settlement with the city, but several other families are still waiting for closure in their wrong raid cases. It's a long and expensive road. And as CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini uncovered, the cost to them and to you is about more than just money.
Do you know the difference between telling the truth and telling a lie?
Yes.
These children,
how old are you, Daviana?
6.
Have had their front doors broken down.
Search warrant, Chicago Police!
And homes invaded.
And at this time, would you please raise your right hand for the oath?
Guns pointed at them, their siblings, or their parents.
Do you believe that there's any reason you wouldn't be able to tell us the truth today?
There's no reason I could tell the truth.
You are watching those children being deposed by lawyers defending the city of Chicago. Multiple police misconduct lawsuits have been filed accusing officers of wrongly raiding innocent families and mistreating them too.
Still hurts to watch.
That video from the body-worn cameras of heavily armed police. Peter Mendez's apartment was raided in 2017 when he was just 9. The real target lived in the apartment upstairs.
You believe a gun was pointed at you?
Yes.
You were laying on the floor face down though, right?
Yes. Well, I was, but then I could look up.
What happened to Peter Mendez is part of a disturbing pattern of wrong raids the CBS 2 investigators exposed over the last 4 years.
Are you okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
His little brother Jack was just 5 at the time of their raid.
Could you promise me that when we're doing this, you won't lie?
No, I won't lie.
To see these kids go through this is hard for you.
It's absolutely hard for me.
Ann Jeanette Young's home was wrongly raided while she was naked and changing into pajamas in 2019.
Let's go talk outside.
The man police were looking for lived in the apartment next door.
It's so disheartening for me to hear that these children are being,
Are you doing okay?
Traumatized over and over again as they continue through this process of seeking justice.
I just can't wait to get out.
That justice for many families often comes in the form of a civil lawsuit.
Can we take a break if that's okay?
You're doing great, buddy.
I'm about to go home too.
Today, the CBS 2 investigators have tracked more than a dozen lawsuits related to wrong raids, families who sued the city because of moments like this.
He gave us the wrong part. They just had their weapons, they just aimed at us.
16-year-old Amani Booth was 13 when his home was wrongly raided in 2018.
Were the officers inside the house much taller than you?
Yes.
His brother Legend was 8.
He just said, get the
out, like a mean way though.
Now, because his family is suing the city, he, his siblings, and kids from other wrong raid lawsuits are required to sit through lengthy depositions like this.
You were talking earlier about guns. You remember that?
Yes.
Like the raid on Daviana Simmons' home with her mom and grandma inside.
Yeah.
Listen as city lawyers start asking her about things that have nothing to do with the wrong raid.
How often do you see your dad?
Not all the time.
Not all the time? Does he come by like for your birthday sometimes?
No.
So to ask a young child, you know, about her absent father brings no value to the case, but it continues to cause systematic harm to the individual.
Young not only shares their pain, but she's also a licensed social worker who helps people experiencing trauma. She's now finalizing a $2.9 million lawsuit settlement against the city.
This is not right.
And says the legal fight to prove emotional damage and physical harm is a brutal business.
Have you ever had to be on the punishment before?
Yes.
You know what a spanking or a whooping is?
Yes.
Have you ever gotten one before?
The city spent $930,000 in legal fees to private law firms to fight the Simmons case, then another $2.5 million to settle it, for a total of $3.4 million.
If you know, does your father own a firearm?
No, he doesn't.
A lawyer for the city asks him whether his dad owned a gun, even though his father had nothing to do with the raid.
They got a warrant in their hand.
Remember, it was the wrong home. The city has already spent more than $330,000 to defend this case.
I mean you absolutely no disrespect with this question. I just need to ask this to cover this fact. Do you have you ever been detained or arrested?
No.
Was his gun still out when he came back in the living room?
I don't recall. Can we please take a break if that's okay?
But you kick down doors of people that you're not sure.
The Mendez family filed their wrong raid lawsuit all the way back in 2018. Since then, the city has spent more than $420,000 defending that case and the officers involved, and it continues to rack up fees. These depositions you're seeing cost thousands of dollars.
Have you ever been afraid of the dark before this incident?
No.
Since 2015, the city has paid private law firms more than $2.5 million in just legal fees to defend these wrong raid cases.
And it needs a complete overhaul in a way that will be fair to all citizens and all families in the city of Chicago.
And it's not just about tax dollars. Young says there needs to be real reform.
I absolutely think that my case was fast-tracked because of the publicity.
Just relax, all right?
She believes there needs to be accountability, like in her case, and she questions why none of these other cases, which all predated her raid, have resulted in a completed COPA or Civilian Office of Police Accountability investigation.
It's heartbreaking because a lot of these cases happened before my incident, but I've gotten more resolution than they have, and it's just not fair.
COPA is telling us a few of these cases will be finalized early next year. No one from the city will comment on pending litigation, and the mayor says she's committed to moving these cases through the process. Dave Savini, CBS 2 Investigators.
And you can see a breakdown of how much the city has spent on all these cases in the Investigator section of the CBS Chicago app. For the first time.
So, yeah, welcome to the No Filter podcast. Y'all sound like, y'all look just like, what's up? No comment?
That's heartbreaking.
I wasn't going with heartbreaking. You okay, bro? So the topic is not about the wrong rage, right? The topic is about defunding and reforming the police, right? That's what the topic.
Where that money
Which
coming
I fully
from?
support.
Hey, the money coming from us.
Where that money coming? That's my thing. Where that money coming from?
That money coming from us. That's tax dollars. Remember what we was having the conversation offline? That's why I said we're gonna do this. Like money, like this is where you get into the whole qualified immunity thing, where the police don't have to pay for shit. They not paying. Like the police union's not paying. Their pensions not getting fucked with. Their salaries not getting fucked with. These are all straight up tax dollars. Period. Point blank. Like the same shit I was talking about last week. Like so, if that's one city, that's the city of Chicago. Keep in mind, this shit is across the country. The way the police move in the amount of like this shit happens because they're on video. Now you get pulled over, you get pulled out your car, the cops violate your rights, you go. So lawyer fees, settlement, all types of other shit. All of these things are occurring, period, point blank, every single time. Even if you lose, the city had to pay. It's like a fucking flabbergasted.
Because it's mind-boggling to me, because I don't think all the people fully, I don't think they understand it. I really don't think they see.
Well, I'm not going to say that, bro. See, I'm going to say they don't care because it don't affect them directly.
I guess maybe that's it. I mean, I guess maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's more accurate.
Yeah, they're very they're apathetic to it. They don't care. Once you pay your taxes and your taxes come out of your check, and you know you're trusting the government to do whatever the fuck the government's going to do with your taxes. So you got to consider, keep it a stack, right? So if a city has this hypothetical, this complete hypothetical bullshit, a city has fucking 2 million motherfuckers in it. Those 2 million motherfuckers each pay $10 fucking in taxes to the city. You wonder why the potholes ain't fixed, because they paying for the police fucking up. That's what they doing. Like literally, right? Like, because I mean, you figure like the federal government fucking funnels money into cities for fucking highway and road improvement and shit like that. So it's not like all your tax dollars ain't going. Obviously, it's not all going to the police, but you know, the schools, shit to this effect. All of these places get money, but we know schools are dramatically underfunded. But the police clearly are funded very fucking well. You see the gear they had on. Let's just keep it a stack, right? They all got fucking body cam. So there's another video, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm just gonna forewarn y'all about the other video. The other video is the cop. And when you hear the lack of accountability, he's just callous. He don't give a fuck because there's no repercussions. There's no ramifications whatsoever.
It doesn't hurt them. It doesn't hurt them.
Right. It's literally it's one of the cops from that particular raid. Like there's another one where they bust in the house and the mom was on the way home from work. And it's like, I think it's 3 little girls or some shit. And these motherfuckers, like you see them AR to the forehead of these children. Like they're describing it like, yeah, he put the gun right up against my forehead. Like, motherfucker, the moment you see that this is a child, you're doing too much. You are doing too fucking much. And then they get into the question about body cams. Like these motherfuckers literally was like, yo, we got the wrong house. Cut the cameras off. And then continue to search the house. Like looking for something to substantiate the amount of money and resources that they just fucking, this shit is crazy.
That shit's fucking flabbergasted.
Oh man. Yeah. So like I said, today's conversation is all about defunding the police, period, point blank, across the board. It's not about nothing else. It's about defunding and the reformation of what we know as the police, because clearly they have gotten the fuck out of control. Like shit like that right there lets you know that they have gotten the fuck out of control. Like never mind the wrongful deaths of people who've been shot during no-knock raids. And if you watch that raid, so that wasn't technically a no-knock raid. They were supposed to knock. They did not. They just breached and then said that they announced themselves and blah, 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 blah. Well, you announced yourself once you came through the door, motherfucker. That's not how that's supposed to work. You're supposed to give me an opportunity to answer the motherfucking door. And it becomes a glaring issue when you look at the fact that there's at least 20-something that was wrong. Like they're only talking about the wrong ones. They're not talking about the ones that didn't turn up shit. In the other video, it straight up says like of all of these raids, they've fucking I think it's like of the I want to say it's like 400,000 or 4,000, either 4 or 6,000, and of that half haven't produced any arrests or narcotics or guns. They can't even tally if those were the wrong houses because no one's keeping track because the shit is so fucking commonplace. It's just like, fuck it. This is the police. This is the police that everyone is here for. This is the police that, right.
So much love for.
This is the police that the crowd that supports Blue Lives Matters, which is not a thing, is so supportive of.
That shit's crazy. That's my tax money hard at work, buddy.
It's bullshit.
Motherfuckers raiding the wrong house. Yeah. 2.5 what?
But listen, that's one. Listen, her settlement, like, and so I watched, like, so when that happened, I actually watched that, like, I followed that. That shit was crazy because they pulled that woman, they had her outside for a minute.
Yeah,
it like naked. That shit was fucking crazy. But my whole thing was, like I said, but based on last week's conversation, it's literally like this is what we've given to the people who police our communities. We've given them this, right? No qualified, like they have qualified immunity, right? They don't have to answer to anyone clearly, because if they did this shit wrong over the if you get one wrong, you're doing too much. Let's keep it a stack, right? But there was not one on that screen. Like there were multiple. The shit is so fucking commonplace. Like, and then so now you see Lil Dude say he wasn't scared of the dark before, right? So now Lil Dude, you know, he'll be 16 soon. He'll be walking through the same neighborhood, and when the cop approaches, now we get into last week's shit. How's he supposed to respond?
Yep.
Y'all kicked in my door when I was fucking 8 years old, held a pistol to held a gun to my little brother's head who was 5 years old. Why the fuck would I have a positive fucking reaction to you motherfuckers jumping out on me?
But they don't give a fuck.
Fuck you mean you need some ID? I don't want to give you shit. I don't even want a cop to ask me what time it is. Like, are you fucking for real right now?
Shit is wild. Shit is wild. It don't make no kind of sense. These because I can't speak on it because like real shit, because it's gonna go away from the topic of discussion. That's why I'm kind of like I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna caveat what you say. I'm gonna pivot out.
Say what you're gonna say, bro.
Because they're these motherfuckers, they just doing shit to be doing it. Like they're, like you said, accountability.
We know that because we grew up in that environment in that time.
And see,
we were the super predators. Like we are the reason they were given these particular grants and all of these funds to have all of the weaponry and the motherfucking shit that they have. But now that they have military weaponry, these motherfuckers are moving like the military. Like we're not talking about specialized people who have gathered and are properly trained to conduct listen, you watch them go in. They were not in contact with one another. They did not clear no fucking rooms. They were just all over the motherfucking place. That is how someone gets fucking killed. We know that is not how you clear a motherfucking house at all.
And that's what I'm saying. Like logistically speaking, how do you go to a wrong? And I may be fucked up.
Oh no. Oh, so you didn't listen to the very first part, right?
I didn't.
So
I must have missed it.
Let me because your mood. Let me tell you what happened, and then I'm actually like once we fucking reset.
Go back to the
I'm gonna play the other video, but let me explain to you what happened. Right, so he busted a motherfucker. The motherfucker is a dope head. The dope head snitched, gave him some information, and he didn't verify any of the information. But the information that the dope head gave him was the apartment upstairs. So, right, let me add this caveat real quick, because listen, if my dog gets loose and the local dope head tells me the dog is loose, the first place I'm going is home to confirm it was my dog. Because I don't, at last I checked, dope heads are unfucking reliable.
That's what I'm like. Who's listening to dope heads? Who? He is a dope head. He has no vested interest on giving you the right information at all.
Well, we're not even talking about, listen, we're not even talking about right information, right? He could be just mistaken. It is what it is. But let me highlight the failure that will be highlighted in the other video. The police officer gets the information, doesn't confirm it, and he's going to give you the bullshit reasons why he didn't confirm it. However, he has to run it up the chain to have the resources to have a whole team and squad of motherfuckers
and nobody
go raid that house. Oh, no, wait. And then you have to go to the district attorney. And then you go to a judge to sign off on the warrant. And even after all of that, no one figured out that that was the wrong address. This is all of our money at work. And I listen, once again, I'm gonna just keep saying that's Chicago. I'm gonna tell you right now, the last I checked, I think LA County pays out like something like 53 million a year and fucking
like they bank, like I think they factor that shit in.
Yes, that's in the police budget.
Yeah, like they factored this in.
Yes, like we know we're going to pay out 53 million a year in fucking suits.
Stop and think about what we get. Like, stop and think about that for a second. And you mean to tell me y'all don't think nothing is wrong at all when a motherfucker factors in wrongful shit done by police? They factor that into y'all motherfuckers need some shit. Y'all need Jesus. I'm sorry, y'all need
you okay, bro?
Nah, man, y'all motherfuckers need Jesus. And nobody stopped to think, but like, you know what? Maybe we should look at this and revamp and let's sit down and try to figure something out. Nah, fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Let them do what they want to do. We'll just fucking raise everybody's taxes. That's why fucking California, nigga. Oh my God, is that why California is so fucking high to live here? Is that why? That's why it costs so much to live in that motherfucker?
I mean, you got to figure. You start talking about every major city. Every major city will have this problem. That goes without saying. Every major city is going to have this particular type of problem. Like the overzealous police officer who is trying to make a name for himself, or wants to appear big and bad. Got his gun and his badge. He's going to jump out the window and do whatever the fuck he needs to do to prove he's correct in whatever it is. And the problem is there's no checks and balances here.
Like nobody's holding nobody account, like none. It's like,
so do you think the answer is a civilian oversight committee of some sort?
I think any place that has its own police department that doesn't have a civilian oversight panel of a minimum of 9 people is a failure. Because I don't give a fuck about the police. I don't give a fuck what they're gonna do. It is what it is. Like, number one, they're not lawyers. They don't go to law school. They have a very limited, if any, understanding of what the law actually says. All of these things are completely arbitrary to them. You get a gun and a badge, and then you're free to do whatever the fuck you want to be. I mean, that you tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. If I see a man with a red sash, I'm killing him. That's what happens when you give a motherfucker a badge. Like, that's consistently been the case in movies, you name it. Like, you had the marshals get gunned down in the fucking valley, and out comes the Lone Ranger, and all these motherfuckers think they the goddamn Lone Ranger.
And every single one of them, they get this gun and this badge, and they think they in the fucking Wild West out in this motherfucker. I am the law. Okay, Dredd. Calm down, Dredd. Calm down there. Be easy, buddy.
Right? Like, so I mean, ultimately, this is the environment we have created. Like, and no bullshit. Like, you figure crime technically is not going to fuck down. Let's just keep it a stack. Everybody can say whatever they want to say. Crime is not going down. Everybody's more afraid than ever of every fucking thing. It is what it is. And just so you're aware, I want y'all to understand that a couple of them no knocks and them wrong raids happened during COVID. How fucked up is your fucking intel when these motherfuckers is in that, you could sit on the house and make a determination who lives here because everybody's home. These motherfuckers was literally saying we didn't even know there were children in the house. Excuse me, bitch. Excuse me, mademoiselle. The fuck? The fuck is wrong? Are you for real right now?
These motherfuckers ain't got the good common sense. You know, like you say, you know how many people this shit had to go through. I'm still stuck on that shit. Like, do you realize the amount? Okay, well, here, this needs to go here. This needs like.
I want you to think, because last week I kept saying, right, I just want my $275,000, right? I kept saying that, like I'm not bullshitting. You're gonna violate me, you're my $275,000. Understand, if you do more than that, I'm going for the gusto. Like motherfuckers out here getting 2.7.
I'm finna run your ass through the ringer.
I'm trying to change your city name from the namesake of the British white man who owned slaves to my name. like, oh, this motherfucker didn't change the whole name of the city.
I'm finna fuck you up. Man, you better. That shit's crazy to me.
But this is common. I mean, it's common. And listen, when you watch the other video and the dude is talking, you're gonna be like, you think I'm supposed to believe this shit? But it's so plausible that he's just this fucking stupid, and that everybody in the process is this fucking stupid. It just stands to prove the point that number one, the moment some of this shit happens and you get exposed like this, you should never be allowed to be a cop nowhere, anywhere. Yeah. Well, no, okay, maybe in Mayberry with Andy Griffith.
No, nigga, no, you look. Contrary to popular belief, all cops are stupid. I don't know where they got this that it takes brains to get it. Does like you don't like any idiot can go be a cop, like real shit. And that's
I would like to support that fact that Mookie is stating right now by saying, how many people do you know from your own high school that you graduated from that were motherfucking idiots that are cops now?
Zero.
Like,
well, you don't count.
Yeah, you like, once again, you're not the same as the rest of us. You're a whole other person by yourself. However, I know several people that were dumb jocks that just didn't really get an education, kind of stupid, and now are police officers.
I venture to say it requires more brain power to swap out the Teflon on the McDonald's fucking grill than it is to be a police officer. So.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
It is what it is. And I'm not, you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and say that, right? I'm not a fan of any of the police. Just factual information, right? So, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that there are not some quality motherfuckers who attempted to join the police force for whatever reason, and now they are subject to the blue line. Like that's, you know, the blue code of silence, all of that shit. That is what it is. That's where they are with it. You can't really change the culture of the police, which is why this video that I'm about to play is going to illustrate just how fucking stupid a reasonably sounding police officer is. And then we're going to go from there and start spitting out a couple ideas on how to reform.
You are about to hear from Chicago police officers who raided the wrong home. They were caught on body camera, busting through doors and continuing their search even after they knew they were in the wrong place.
Uh-oh. You muted just, uh-oh.
You hit the apartment of the Mendezes, correct? That's correct. Okay. Chicago police officer Joe Capella got a search warrant to raid a suspected drug dealer's home, but he didn't make sure he was hitting the right place. He and a team of officers with handguns and an assault rifle raided the home of an innocent family. What's the full name of that weapon?
Spike Tactical AR-15 rifle.
It is a weapon the Mendez family says they will never forget. What did this erroneous search warrant do to your lives? So we're upset about. While being questioned for a lawsuit filed by the family, Capello and other officers give a deeply disturbing look into how little police work they actually did before raiding this home.
Mr. and Mrs. Mendez and their children, Peter and Jack, were not the intended targets of your search warrant. Correct? No, they were not.
Here's how Capello got the warrant approved. He made a drug arrest the day before and flipped that suspect into becoming a confidential informant. So, Johnny O then gave Capello the name and address of a man he claimed was a major drug dealer. But Capello never investigated to see if John Doe's tip was even true or if the address was correct.
I was not able to do surveillance of that due to the nature of our hours.
Capello admits to just driving by the multi-unit apartment building.
Did you request a covert car? We don't have one available to us in the patrol. Sometimes we don't have all the assets we need in terms to do extra surveillance, and there's an overtime issue, things of that nature.
He was also asked why he didn't use other investigative tools to verify the address.
Was there something preventing you from contacting a utility company to find out who the account holder of record for that apartment was? I didn't know I was aware I was able to do that. That wasn't something that you were trained on in the police academy? No, I was not.
And with no verification that the address was correct, Capello's superior signed off on the warrant anyway, and so did prosecutors and a judge.
Did Judge Burns ask you any questions about your complaint for search warrant or any of the information in your complaint? No.
This failure to do even a minimal investigation is just one of the reasons the Mendez family is suing the Chicago Police Department. And there are many more reasons, starting with Peter Mendez, who says he was terrified by police pointing guns at him while officers handcuffed his dad.
Just a saddest moment.
He and his brother are two of at least 23 children the CBS 2 investigators have found traumatized by bad raids. Our year-long investigation found officers repeatedly failing to investigate informant tips, busting into homes of innocent families, and treating them badly. Capello and other officers say they treated the Mendez family well.
Everyone on the team was more than polite to the whole family. They were treated with the utmost respect through the whole time in the search warrant.
The family strongly disagrees and says from the very beginning, police showed zero respect. They really hurt you that day. And the warrant required officers to knock first, but they just busted in.
Officers forced the door open and then entered. Correct. That's correct.
The family is really angry with what officers were caught saying on body camera video, whispering that they got it wrong. This is Officer Guzman.
He gave us the wrong apartment. He gave us the wrong apartment.
Officer Guzman is talking to this man, Officer Hernandez. Hernandez even gave the thumbs down, indicating it was a bad raid. This should be the point where officers apologize and leave. Instead, they kept searching. You can see them going through the medicine cabinet, searching kitchen drawers, even the microwave.
I wasn't really doing a search of this residence.
When questioned about
He's looking for Hot
Hernandez
Pockets.
said he wasn't really. He goes through Peter's backpack.
I did continue to do a search, but it wasn't like systematic search where I was lifting things up and throwing things around, and I was kind of just doing a surface search.
And here, Officer Capello is talking to another officer who actually chuckles when they find out they're in the wrong home, and they kept searching too. Capello, under oath, said he meant throw a pity party for him because he thought he was going to get in trouble for getting the address wrong.
Did you hear him chuckle? So yeah, someone chuckled. I'm not sure. Okay.
They live upstairs. They live upstairs.
The Mendez family says most traumatizing were the guns. Capello denies pointing his rifle at anyone.
My rifle is at my navel line, and I'm walking like this the whole time. All right. If I was, my elbow would have been tucked in, and it would have been up here.
Exactly where he pointed his rifle should have been caught on body camera video, but Capello failed to wear one, even though he was issued a working one hours before the raid.
You were never disciplined for not wearing your body camera that day, correct? That's correct. Okay.
And there's been no discipline for any officer involved in the Mendez raid.
I wasn't punished in any way. I wasn't
No reprimand or anything like that. Did anybody talk to you about the investigation that you did? No. What about that drug dealing suspect police were so eager to catch? He was providing narcotics for that area and still is to this very day. This very dangerous drugs, heroin and crack cocaine. You would think police got a new warrant, made an arrest, and confiscated the stash of drugs, right? Well, they didn't. No new warrant, no arrest. To your knowledge, did the Chicago police ever go back and hit the crack department, the apartment where the targets actually lived? No.
And since that raid happened back in 2017, that means the real target has remained free for 2 years. The Chicago Police Department refuses to turn over all of its wrong raid data, and Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson continues to refuse a sit-down interview on the subject. 2 more families just contacted us about more wrong raids. Brad?
Yeah, I might not talk to you either, Dave. Baffling number of gaffes. Thank you, sir. Peter Mendez is not the only child to be traumatized by Chicago police officers during wrong raids. Unwarranted, the CBS 2 documentary digs into that broken trust. It airs this Sunday night at 10, immediately after Madam Secretary.
So yeah, everybody feel free to jump on.
1 year ago today, we've heard
Feel free to jump on the thing
across the country
and make it happen.
A social worker wrongly raided by the Chicago Police Department.
You could just stop.
The city's law department fought in federal court.
Yeah. Everybody feel free to go look up the documentary, the news report. It's quite interesting. I just chose what I chose because it went together. So at the end of the day, these motherfuckers are completely inept. It's really time to defund the police. Let's not bullshit. Like complete reformation of the motherfucking police department as a whole. The police as we know it is just wrong. It's just not okay.
From
no
the
way,
top
shape,
down.
Right. Period. Across the board. Across the board.
These motherfuckers.
Look at his face.
And they kept it was mind-boggling. Like,
yeah, I was searching, but I wasn't searching.
I can't believe he that motherfucker said that shit. I was like, well, I was looking at them. They look like the motherfuckers that used to get bullied and then it was like, oh, now I'm tough. Like you 2 ignorant motherfuckers. Like y'all are dumb. Dumb as fucking.
This is what I was saying, right? When dude was talking, when I first watched it, and he was talking about how he had his motherfucking AR. I was like, I know goddamn well when you are entering a house that you believe the suspect is in, you were at the ready. Like, don't play.
You
came up the steps in the ready.
This motherfucker, like, did he stop playing?
Bingo.
Stop fucking playing. Like, don't bullshit a bullshitter, motherfucker. You came in this bitch like that. Oh no, I was at my navel with my arm tucked. No, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Hey,
you
D.
pointed that gun at everybody.
D, I'm going to ask you for your encyclopedia-like knowledge on this subject right now. What is the percentage of current police officers that were formerly in the military that were trained in urban warfare?
No idea. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think that's a statistic they would readily keep just because military members don't transition well to civilian life and they don't want to do that. That's like if you're like there's people who was in the Marine Corps who tried to do an inter-service lap move, and the other branch of the service was like, fuck no. Y'all motherfuckers is weird. We're not letting y'all into our nice fucking club. It's just fucking not happening. You motherfuckers is way too aggressive. Y'all got way too much shit going on.
Can't sit here. You can't sit here.
So I don't think they would do that. Like, I don't think that's a statistic they would readily keep. Just like they're not keeping the statistics on the fucking fuck up no knocks.
Right, exactly.
Like that's really the case. Like they don't want that data because you start keeping data points, people start having shit to look back to, and then other things start getting investigated and they don't want to go down that road. So that is what it is. But it's time for complete reform. Like when I say defund, I literally mean defund. Like those weird ass cops, they don't need to have that gear. They don't need to have those weapons because clearly they don't know what the fuck to do with them. End statement. Period, point blank. And when this motherfucker said he didn't have access to a motherfucking patrol car,
Nigga.
Investigative car, undercover car. Okay, so all of the money that y'all about to pay out, that 2 point something million, y'all could have bought a car. Come on, don't do that. like, don't be the fucking ones. That's fucking weird. There's no reason. And this is my personal take, right? So civilian oversight, period, point blank, across the board. There needs to be civilian oversight. Like every police department, I don't give a fuck how big, I don't give a fuck how small, needs to have a minimum of a 9-panel civilian oversight board. Period.
Right.
Point.
No shit.
Like that's just goes without saying, right? I don't give a fuck. And if your police department is too small to be able to afford a 9-panel civilian oversight board, guess what? You should be disbanded and you should be rolled into the fucking county sheriffs. And if you don't qualify to be a county sheriff, then be the fuck done. And notice when I say defund the police, I'm not directly talking about the sheriffs. The sheriffs are elected officials. You vote for your sheriff. I have zero issues with sheriffs in that sense, because as they fuck up, they get ousted.
Oh yeah.
The chief of police gets appointed by the mayor. That's a whole nother fucking thing. So if you're the sheriff, that's an elected position, and that's cool. Do your thing, because you got some years to implement whatever you're trying to implement. You fucking set up whatever you need to set up, fucking conform to the new standards. If you don't conform to the new standards and there's too much fucking shit going on your motherfucking watch, the next motherfucker is getting fucking elected. That's a fair and reasonable thing. Police commissioners, police chiefs and shit, them motherfuckers get appointed. That's a fucking hell no. That's a hell the fuck ass no. Right. There's no reason. Like, and this is one of them damned if you do, damned if you don't things, right? Every cop in the world is always talking about how afraid they are when they're approaching a car or whatever, blah, 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 blah. That's why they be having their hands on their guns, and that's why they be having tasers and blah, 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 and all this other bullshit. Okay, so let's keep it a stack. If you don't have a gun and you're pulling over a suspect with a gun, the likelihood of him shooting you if he knows you don't have a gun is very low. He's just going to take his ticket and move the fuck on. Yeah, he's not going to let you pull him out the car and arrest him because you don't have a gun. So no, don't try to do that. That's what I mean when I say we need to reform and defund. So there should be an entire division devoted simply to traffic and vehicle registration and things of this nature. If all of those people don't have guns, how much money is being saved in the United States of America? Period, point blank. Like that's just the truth, right?
How many lives are being saved?
I'm not on the life part. I'm on the money part. I don't give a fuck about people's lives right now. The reality is you can talk about, we talk about lives on a regular basis, right? At the end of the day, motherfuckers is getting gunned down. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about these no-knocks. Nobody gives a fuck about Breonna Taylor. Nobody gives a fuck about Philando Castile. Nobody gives a fuck about them kids. They've illustrated that, period, point blank. What they do give a fuck about is their money. That's what they care about. That's why they be complaining about the fucking amount of the $3 a year that they put into welfare, and they think fucking welfare moms is fucking draining them dry. They give a fuck about their money. So you start pointing at the money, shit'll fucking change. So I'm saying whoever comes across this motherfucking rant, they'll understand this is about the money. If every police officer in the United States of America had their gun taken away, period, all of them, and then reissued after qualification and certain determinations to say if you have the necessary skill set to be a police officer with a gun, and then you're going to be serving high-risk warrants and SWAT team and shit like that, yes, they need guns. The local fucking cop pulling me over for my fucking tags does not need a gun. It makes him want to use it.
Use it. Exactly.
Period. That right there will change the nature of law enforcement in and of itself. Period. The money. You start talking about the money. So if 70% of the police force don't need fucking guns, take the fucking police's guns. Take the police's guns first, and then I'll consider some shit over here. I'll consider taking some shit off my wall, maybe. Like real shit. That's just how that works. Now, the civilian oversight, fucking removal of all that tack gear, all that other shit. Now let's keep it a whole stack. I don't understand why you need a 2022 Charger with invisible decals. I need to know you're the police. If I need to flag you down and I need fucking assistance, I would like to be able to see your car from a distance, not have to get up on it at a particular angle and look at it like I'm looking through a fucking kaleidoscope. How about that shit? How about you trying to trick the citizens into something or lull the citizens into sleep so you can pull off the side of the motherfucking the berm and chase me down in a motherfucking souped up Charger for what, motherfucker? Just proudly display your shit. If the goal here is to stop people from speeding, the marked car is gonna make people hit the brakes.
Yeah, that's true.
The fuck, like common fucking sense here.
That's true.
Also, just as a caveat, if I may, the material that is reflective that they put on those decals or use for the decals cost 4 times more than any other material to put on a vehicle.
That's just crazy.
So if I spend $60 on a 2-foot roll of vinyl, by the way, this is what I do for a living. That's the only reason I know this. If I spend $60 on a 2-foot roll of calendar material, and then I have to order the reflective to go over it, the same roll with the same amount of footage or yardage is $270 or $280.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is follow the money. There's no reason that these motherfuckers need. Okay, like if you want everybody to not have AR-15s, disarm the police first.
Yep.
Period. Point blank. Otherwise, everybody should get one. Because these motherfuckers clearly have illustrated that they're completely fucking inept and have no fucking idea what the fuck to do with none of the shit they have.
You know what? You made an interesting point about people complaining about the welfare and the money that they take out for that.
Yeah, they don't care, bro. Like I've listened to people talk. Like I've literally been privy to the conversations where they're like, yeah, they're not going to callously be like they don't give a fuck about human life, but at the same time, if they understood the true amount of money that was paid out in law enforcement, right? Like, so you're like, I think it's like $33 or $36 a year of your tax money goes to fucking all of the welfare programs. That is that's WIC, TANF, cash, right, all that shit, right? They have no idea what's being fucking funneled into the goddamn police department, though.
And that's what I'm saying. Like the people, like you said, people can give me exact, like you just said, but they have no idea.
Somebody has an idea. It's just not. It's never been a talking point. Like we understand that in the, I want to say it was the mid 90s. Actually, I think it was the early 90s, late 80s. Police departments used to make the conversation that they were woefully undergunned, like they were outgunned completely in the streets. Which might have been the case because motherfuckers were running around with AKs and Uzis. Like, let's just keep it a stack. Like it was happening, but it wasn't happening at the level that people think it was happening. Like that's just not the case. We watched it.
May I? We do need to say that there was a certain president in the 1980s that made this an issue when it wasn't.
I'm not going that far because that's the conspiratorial thing. We're not going down a conspiracy road. I'm going down the.
But it's a fact.
I'm going down the right now road. And that time, the police argument was they were outgunned, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, make our neighborhood safer." Like, so everyone was on the make the neighborhood safer, but no one understood what was needed for the tactics. Like, no one understood that, so they just decided to arm the police like the military and gave them military vehicles, military weapons, military gear, and then these cops had the military mindset, and then like. You figure like back in the day, you knew the cop who policed your neighborhood when you was a kid. You knew the cop because you knew his kids. He wasn't going to indiscriminately get out and beat your ass because he knew his son was liable to get his ass beat at school. The fact when they changed that and the cops no longer had to live in the communities that they fucking police, that shit became an issue. Because you're not just finished just hopping out on motherfucking the homies if your son is subject to ass whoopings. That you're not finna do that. And that used to be a prereq. You needed to live in the neighborhood or the community that you fucking policed, period, point blank. There was a time when that was a real thing. As you started to militarize the fucking police force, and they started getting these fucking little special gang task force and drug task force, and all the jump out motherfuckers with every letter in the book, then it became not such a real thing. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't live there no more, so I don't have no fucking personal rapport with the people. So I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna jump out and beat their ass. I remember the task force jumping out, robbing motherfuckers in one park, and then driving to the other park and selling the shit back to the drug dealers at a better rate. Like literally, that was a real fucking thing. That's documented. Like that's not my opinion. That's not a anecdotal evidence that I seen happen. They went to jail. And they did that for years. Like we were less worried about the stick up boys and rival motherfuckers. Like, no, that's task force. These motherfuckers has been in the corner in fucking Ford Tauruses and Bonnievilles, jumping out, beating somebody's ass. Like, right. Like, period. Take all your shit off you and then sell it to the motherfuckers down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. And then collect money from these motherfuckers. Like, yo, the dope man was giving you 25 off 100. These motherfuckers is giving you 10 off 100. Man, I'm not even going there.
Did we
anyway,
grow up fucked up?
I grew up in a wonderful time, and I'm glad I cut my teeth during the time that I cut my teeth.
That's why I really am sitting here
because look, like I was saying earlier, I ain't no fucking little bitch ass pussy like these weirdo motherfuckers always crying about some dumb ass shit that I don't give a fuck about. Because clearly I grew up during different fucking time. So take it how you want to take it, bitches.
Excuse me, D.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me how you really feel, sir?
Nope, because then Mookie will close the podcast down.
You know what? Real shit. I'm really not, because you know what? Because when you literally when you were sitting here talking, I was literally sitting here thinking to myself, like, that's what really fucking happened.
Yeah.
It was happening in your neighborhood too, Mookie. You just didn't know it.
No,
Mookie knew.
I
you don't understand. Like, yeah, Mookie was like, don't let Mookie fool you. Mookie was not on the porch. Like, motherfucker, like, that's not what we doing. We not doing that. What we saying is motherfuckers wasn't necessarily all the way active participants as much as other people. That's all we saying. We're not saying that the motherfucker was on the porch. He was out in the yard.
I'm looking and I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, everything D said, like, cause yes, they're like the officer that was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, walking around swinging his little billy club.
He was
flipping
there.
it. Officer Philly come up, give you the baseball cards and the shit. And, like it was cool. And then a sudden shift happened, and it was like, okay, he not around now no more, or he's like, we see him doing traffic or some shit.
Yeah.
And then this amazing police force comes out because motherfuckers is worried about crackheads and drug dealers and getting gunned down. And it's task force, and these motherfuckers is literally pulling up in plain clothes with bulletproof vests on, and maybe they'll have on a motherfucking windbreaker that says task force, but most of them just jump the fuck out on you, fuck you up, and then pull the badge from out of their bulletproof vest.
Exactly. When you start asking
after
questions,
the fact,
look,
right?
After you start asking questions, like, get back. Oh, what the fuck?
Like wait, right? Like when everybody else at the park has pulled out.
Yeah.
Because we about to shoot everybody who just jumped out these cars. Now all of a sudden badges start appearing. Whatever. Anyway, like that shit needs to go away. And by and large, you know, the task force and the gang units and shit, they have went the fuck away. By and large, they have went away. So and once again, none of it was effective. The war on drugs was an utter fucking failure. Period, point blank. The war on gangs was an utter fucking failure, and both of those things was a war on our fucking community. Period, point blank. So, at the end of the day, now that that's not the case, let's keep it a stack. It's time to defund these motherfuckers. It's time to reevaluate what the actual motherfucking police are for, what they're here for, what they're here to do, what their designation is.
Get back
a cop, like I said, a cop pulling me over for a traffic stop does not need a gun. Period, point blank. End statement. In the fucking state. Matter of fact, you should probably spend a year learning fucking all the intricacies of traffic law before you're allowed to pull me the fuck over. Not a couple weeks and no fucking course, like 2-3 months in the academy learning all types of other shit that you don't fucking know. You just trying to pass some fucking test so you can get a gun and a badge so you can get out here on the street and pull me over. Like, no, you need to learn the intricacies of the shit. You need to understand what the Constitution is. They need to have a month-long course on the motherfucking Constitution, and then they need to start studying fucking law.
Now we get to a subject that really irks the shit out of me. Do you know that I have to have more training in college to be a graphic designer than these assholes have to get a gun and a badge and get behind the wheel of a car?
Yeah,
they're dumb.
We're all aware. We know that they don't need.
I mean, I know you know. I'm just like, it was the way
he was reiterating it for the people out there, not us.
Yeah,
because it's weird. Because I told you they're dumb. Like, it does not take a rocket scientist to become a fucking cop at all. Like,
I'm not finna badmouth. Like so you got up. No. Listen, Mook. No. All right. You got up, right? So my whole thing has consistently been, right, at the end of the day, I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with them. Listen, y'all. Listen, police officer, if you hear this, I don't fuck with you. It is what it is. I'm going to remain cordial. It is what it is. You know, try to keep fucking pushing. I want to go home just like you want to go home. So that's how that is. That's what that interaction is. I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is, I understand that you may have been well intended when you joined the police force. However, that's sort of like the same thing when, you know, you join a fucking sports team, right? And the sports team is ass. You're ass. If y'all went 0-16, you don't get to talk about your personal accolades when the entirety of your team is ass. Like you're I threw for 6,000 yards and 57 touchdowns, but y'all lost every game.
How many wins y'all got?
Like, your ass. Like, that's the reality. So you as an individual may be good, Mr. Cop. That's great, whatever. However, everyone else on your team is ass. End statement. Your team is ass. Y'all are not competitive in the league. Everything about everything y'all doing is ass. Like, yeah, y'all score 52 points a game. The problem is the other team scores 65 in every game. You're ass. That's a statement of fact, right? So I'm not saying that they're all fucked up. I'm saying, like, you're a good player on a bad team. That's cool. But when I'm talking about your team. Your team is ass. All of y'all. Like, so I don't, like I said, I'm not trying to pick one person out, single one person out. You know, somebody might be a good motherfucker. I used to do. My mom used to say she wanted to be a cop. You know, I told my mom, you can't be no cop because I don't want to have to do nothing to nobody. End statement. I don't give a fuck about the police force. It is what it is. You my mom. Like, some shit happened. You know, you go put a fucking traffic ticket on somebody's car and they fucking think they're gonna do some other shit, then it's gonna be some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll be like, oh my God, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. So no, we're not doing that. That is what it is. So yeah, like that's it. The defunding, the reformation of the police, that needs to be a real conversation that people need to really understand. People need to be prepared to have it, not just jump out the window. So what do you mean? They're not supposed to be no cops? Nobody said that, motherfucker. What I said is, I'm cool with the sheriff because the sheriff is an elected position who appoints fucking deputies, and he's going to hold those deputies' feet to the fire because his elected position is in jeopardy every single time some shit fucking happens. They need to get rid of fucking qualified immunity, civilian oversight across the board, period, point blank. Don't give a fuck how big or small your fucking police force is. That's just a necessary thing. Traffic cops don't need guns. End statement. End statement. I know this because I remember the meter maids. They did not have guns. They run up on your car. Your car's illegal. That's right. They run up on your car. You parked in front of the meter. The meter's expired. You can argue all day. The meter maids were not being gunned down because motherfuckers understood they didn't have guns.
Holy shit.
Exactly. There was a time in the world where it was a decent occupation, and I do understand that. However, now these motherfuckers, they are, y'all lost y'all fucking minds. And all you fucking bootlicker, cop apologists, all this other shit. Number one, the police they're not the judge. They don't understand the law. So anytime a cop, you have an interaction with a cop, if he wants to arrest you, that's fine. But no one should be dying at the hands of the police in the street.
At all. Like, not even a little bit.
Right. Like, that's not a real thing. Period. Like, mass shooters are being taken in alive, so nobody should be dying. End statement. unless you're holed up in a compound some fucking where, and even with that, it's not your place, because I may go to court and win $3.5 million. Look it up.
It is not your job. You are not judge, jury, and executioner. Goddamn.
You are not the judge or the jury. You are not shit. You are law enforcement. You are here to come get me so other people can preside over whatever the fuck the infraction was you think I committed, because I probably fucking didn't. You don't know. You are unfucking aware.
Exactly.
So that's my official stance. Feel free to close us out however you may desire. I hope all y'all enjoyed my defund the police rant, because I'm just not a fan. Not a fan.
I'm here for it. I'm all aboard. Anybody got anything they want to say before we cut out?
Yeah, I just got one thing.
Go ahead.
I'd like to quote one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time. Fuck the police.
Oh shit. This has been the No Filter Podcast. Make sure you follow us on all our social media and streaming platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure you hit that like, dislike, comment, subscribe, and share button. Also hit that little bell notification so you can be up to date and privy to all of our shenanigans. And before I hit this stop button, anybody got anything they want to say before I click it? And